Welcome back, Gadgeteers. If you're thinking of purchasing a new laptop and you really want a MacBook Pro but you're on a tight budget, I want to give you 5 reasons why you should seriously consider the MacBook Pro 13-inch base model. With a Retina display, 7th generation i5 processor, 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigabytes of SSD storage, and real function keys, it's a great deal. But wait, you say, didn't the super cool 2018 MacBook Pros just come out with 8th generation processors and on the 13-inch a whopping 4 cores, whatever that is? I want that one. Well, we're on a budget, remember? That model will run you $1,799, and as you'll see from number 1 on our list, costs much more. So let's get started with number 1, which is the price is great for an entry-level Mac. For all the hardware you get, $1,299 is a great price. Even better when it's on sale. At the time of this video, the base model was available on sale for $11.99 at Best Buy. Sure, it doesn't have the 8th gen processor, but Apple isn't offering it on the base model. But that's okay because there's plenty of processing power on this model. You may want to bump up the storage to 256 gigabytes, which is on sale at Best Buy for $13.99. If you don't see it on sale this week, just check back each week. They almost always go on sale every other week. Number 2, the perfect balance of performance and size. Sure, you can get a MacBook, not the Pro, for $12.99. On sale right now, actually, for $11.99. But why skimp on the processor and screen when you don't need to? The 12-inch MacBook is a great, light and small, ultra-portable laptop coming in at just a hair over 2 pounds, which is perfect when you need small and light. But if you're looking for far more performance than just 1 additional pound of weight, you want the MacBook Pro base model. Let's take a look at the Geekbench 4 scores for more of an idea of what kind of processing power you get with the base model. For those of you who are not familiar with Geekbench, it's a software tool that is used to measure the performance of the processor of a computer and at sometimes the graphics processor as well. The MacBook Pro base model comes in with a single core score of 4,488 and 9,961 for multi-core. Compare that to the 12-inch MacBook, which comes in at 3,556 single core and 6,773 multi-core. We're talking about a 39.8% speed increase over the MacBook 12-inch model. There's no doubt the base model Pro has way better processing. One thing Geekbench 4 isn't so good at is telling us how well processing speed holds up when doing a processor-intensive task over a long period of time. One factor that will definitely make a difference is cooling. This is where the MacBook is lacking, as it doesn't have any fan to reduce heat during hard work like the MacBook Pro does. In order to avoid overheating the processor, the MacBook 12-inch model will throttle down the processor speed to avoid damaging the system. Also, the MacBook Pro has a much larger screen. Measured diagonally, the MacBook viewable area is 12 inches, while the MacBook Pro is 13.3 inches. It doesn't seem like the additional 1.3 inches or 3.5 millimeters diagonally would make much of a difference, but it really does. Both laptops have Retina displays, but the MacBook Pro base model has 500 nits of brightness compared to the MacBook's 340. This makes a huge difference when outside. In indirect sunlight, the MacBook Pro is easily viewable, while the MacBook, it's gonna struggle. If you're concerned about ports, the MacBook 12-inch has only one USB-C port, which is not Thunderbolt 3. The base model Pro has 2 USB-C ports that are also Thunderbolt 3, useful if you want to add other hardware like external graphics for gameplay. The entry-level Pro really is a great balance of performance, size, weight, and utility in a very nice, very portable package. Number 3, real function keys instead of the touch bar. For the most part, the touch bar is a distraction that takes you away from the screen and requires you to shift your attention to the touch bar. Most reviewers have found the touch bar gimmicky and more of a liability than a benefit. Unlike the physical function keys, that touch bar changes depending on what the status of the operating system is or which application you may have open. This means the process of memorizing key functions will take some additional time getting used to. It's a shame Apple considers the touch bar a premium feature because the standard keyboard is not available at all on all 13-inch higher end and 15-inch Pro models. Some reviewers have even complained that the touch bar doesn't respond to touch about 10% of the time and may take 10 to 15 seconds to begin working again. This has not been confirmed in the new 2018 model, however. Happily, the 2017 base model also has version 2 of the new Butterfly keyboard, which is much more of a pleasure to type on than the previous version. It also fails much less, matching the failure rate of the 2015 MacBook Pro chiclet keyboard, considered one of the best Apple has produced. Some don't like the new profile Butterfly keyboard, but as a touch typist that enjoys typing, I can tell you it's a pleasure to type on. It has a very tactile feel to it and a wonderful, satisfying click. I remember thinking I would hate this keyboard, but find it easy to type on and really enjoy it. The bottom line is the standard keyboard is the best keyboard that's available for the MacBook Pro, and it's only on the base model. You can have the Apple ecosystem on a budget. The concept of a walled garden in consumer electronics basically says that you're using a single company's devices and software to ensure a consistent experience, whether you're on a laptop or a phone, smartwatch, or using fancy peripherals like the Apple AirPods. Most won't argue with the fact that Apple has designed the best walled garden. From the graphical experience to the elegantly designed and mostly reliable hardware, nobody does better. Apple's ecosystem has been criticized as of late for not pushing out updates or innovative changes fast enough, but that's actually part of the lure. Yes, things do change, but they are gradual instead of sweeping changes. This is the way many Apple fans like it. Change for the sake of change isn't worth upsetting workflow. Some changes can easily be ignored, such as the addition of Siri to the Mac lineup. Siri, as we all know, lags way behind competitors such as Alexa or Google. But the features that are awesome are truly awesome. Take, for example, messages. You can send messages on your phone or your MacBook, as well as see incoming messages. Conversations are also set up exactly like they are on the iPhone. Your friends will think you're a fast typer on your iPhone when you're really on your MacBook Pro. You can also answer incoming calls on your MacBook Pro as well. Now, I've used this feature more than a few times when I've misplaced my phone and I'm working on the MacBook. Using just the built-in speaker and microphone, the call quality is actually great. Sharing images or documents among your iPhone and MacBook is as easy as it gets with AirDrop, a great feature that'll move your image or video fast. It may sound trivial, but when you really need those images from your iPhone on your MacBook so you can edit them quickly, AirDrop makes it a snap. AirDrop and messages are a great example of life in Apple's walled garden. Looking on the professional side, the MacBook Pro is hands down the most popular platform for software development. Having a Unix-based operating system makes things easier for developers to write code for Unix, Linux, or mobile platforms, especially Apple products like the iPhone. It does very well in the visual arts like video production and photography, although many professionals have complained about the ports available on the new MacBook Pros. For a budget entry-level model, however, ports are really not an issue. The addition of an inexpensive dongle quickly solves the problem. Video editing is made simple with the fact that you can use the built-in iMovie video editor, or you can upgrade to Apple's professional version, Final Cut Pro 10. Performance is not an issue with the Final Cut Pro or iMovie, as they are tuned to work perfectly on the MacBook Pro, even the base model. Yes, 6 cores on a $2,500 MacBook Pro 15-inch 2018 model is nice, but believe me when I say the base model 13-inch does a great job of rendering video even if you want to use 4K. As an example, we created a 1-minute, 20-second video in iMovie with a 4K source video that included cuts, dissolves, fade-outs, 2 audio filters, and automatic video and audio quality enhancements. The video was exported with quality set at best, and ProRes file output, which took 4 minutes 37 seconds. So if you're creating a 15-minute 4K video, render times would be about an hour, which is respectable. If you want to step outside the Apple ecosystem a bit, most Adobe applications are available for use with any MacBook, including Adobe Premiere for video and Photoshop for editing photos. Most would agree that Final Cut Pro or iMovie is going to give you the better performance over Adobe Premiere for video editing. Keep that in mind if you do decide you want to purchase a professional video editor. 8 gigabytes is more than enough for 99% of the tasks. Don't be pressured into paying the additional $500 it'll take to get 16 gigabytes of RAM. As you can see, we have a 4K video rendering in the background, a browser open with multiple tabs, and a virtual machine running that uses 2 gigabytes of RAM. You'll see that some memory is being swapped out to the SSD, but performance is still great. Blackmagic speed tests show that the base model Pro has read and writes of 1,961 megabytes and 1,340 megabytes, respectively. The OS and hardware are so well tuned, even a base model is an excellent performer. If you think you need 16 or 32 gigabytes, then you don't need a base level MacBook Pro. You need the 15-inch version, which will give you a 6-core i7 or i9 Intel processor and the fastest SSD on the market today. But we're talking about a budget-conscious MacBook Pro, remember? Yes, there are some users out there that can really make a $4,000 plus laptop well worth the price, but be sure to ask yourself if you are that person. Some may tell you 8 gigabytes will never be enough, and you should future-proof your purchase by getting 16 gigabytes. Keep in mind that very nice computers are still being produced today with 4 gigabytes of memory and function just fine. We expect an 8 gigabyte computer to easily be able to perform just fine for the next 3 years at least. It goes without saying that you're far more likely to run out of storage space before you run out of memory, so do yourself a favor and upgrade the SSD storage to 256 gigabytes on your MacBook Pro. You'll be happy you did. Well, there you have it. 5 good reasons to purchase an entry-level MacBook Pro. If your goal is to become a MacBook user and you don't have a large amount of discretionary income, do yourself a favor and consider the base model. It has all the bells and whistles of every other MacBook, like the unbeatable mousepad and the great battery life. Performance is far better than you would think, and it handles just about everything that can be thrown at it. If you want to get stuck in a particular ecosystem, Apple really is the best choice. As always, thank you for watching, Gadgeteers. I hope you found this video to be useful. If so, do me a solid and like and share the video. If you really like it, drop me a comment and become a subscriber if you haven't already. If you don't like it, I just know you'll let me know. Somehow. Thank you again, and I'll see you next time on Fast Gadgets.